Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of stage 19 of the Virtual Grand Tour out on Zwift with Dig Deep Coaching. Let's just jump right on into it as we've got Stephen Gallagher with us today. A lot of you who've been here know the drill. I'm about to go through the drills, and we decided that it was good for Nathan and also good for the program, I think, that yesterday was, yes, he's back on it. Actually, everybody's chatting about it, actually. So, you know, the experience, I think, yesterday of getting the live content from you while watching what was going on with me, I think it brought out a lot more about the workout when someone's going through it and you can see the response and the questions coming up as you're going through it. So pretty awesome, Stephen.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have a lot to live up to after your performance yesterday. So everybody will be watching with bated breath to see how you get on today. But yeah, I think yesterday, you know, it was great in the sense of being able to go through it in detail, probably our whole session a little bit easier. And, you know, again, today, it's a very different workout to yesterday. Obviously, today is our last stage in the Pyrenees, so it's our last mountain stage. So, again, our training today, our workout today is going to reflect that sort of intensity and that sort of effort that the riders were doing. So, again, as everybody can see here on the on the left-hand side of your screen, that it's a long stage. You know, in total, with an hour 13 minutes. You know, really broken down into two major climbs. So what we're trying to replicate today is the Col des Bordères and also the Col de Bisque. So, you know, they're the two climbs that we're going to do today. And again, we've taken this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're going up the Bisque, yep. You'll be glad to know. So anybody who watched the tour today will know that certainly the last climb was very long. It's kind of split in two as well. There's a wee bit of a downhill, so you do have a wee bit of reprieve in the middle. But again, we're sticking to our ethos of, you know, using 70% of the fastest time from Strava over both of these climbs. So, you know, on the Col de Bordères, the fastest time on Strava before today's stage was 21 minutes. And then on the Col de Bisque, the fastest time was 48 minutes. Previously, that was set by Robert Gesink. I would be very surprised if that's still standing after seeing the guys racing up it today. I suspect that them times are broken. But yeah, we're taking 70% off that, and really that's what we're made up of. Obviously, you have a bit of an effort at the end. It doesn't finish at the top of the hill, so you know, we have a wee bit of a you know, intensive effort there in the last sort of 2 minutes. But yeah, let's get over these first two climbs. We're going to be an attacker today, so we're attacking in the climbs. You know, we're riding the first climb at tempo, so it's not too intensive. And then on the second climb, in the longer Col de Bisque, we're going to hit it hard at the bottom, try and get a gap, and then it's going to be a solid tempo in the middle. And then the pace increases then at the top before we, you know, try and sprint for the win at the end. So so that's what we've got in front of us today.
I took liberty, everybody, of so here's how it actually went down. I sat down. Me and Steven are messaging back and forth, and I get him a link to come into the program every day. He gets here and he goes, "Oh, you're not on your bike, huh?" Oh, that was that little like pride
disappointment.
Jab. Little pride, yeah, disappointment. Little pride jab.
Yeah.
I hadn't eaten anything.
Yeah.
There's excuses coming on, and so next thing you know, I'm kitted up within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're probably shorter than that. Like, really, you're really not going to do this, right? I didn't think you would do that to your to your fans. But yeah, I mean, it's good. Like I say, it's good that we're here and we can able. I suppose we can watch the suffering. No doubt, I'll get a bit of jibe for not being on my bike. But yeah, I suppose somebody's got to do a bit of the commentary. So
eventually it'll just be us suffering. So somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. That's a good excuse there, Stephen. Great excuse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna stick with. But yeah, anybody who watched today's stage will know that it was, you know, extremely exciting, and you know, some people are saying probably the most exciting stage of this year's tour so far. yeah, it certainly was. I've been building up to a day like today, so yeah, I mean, it's going to be certainly a hard day. And again, for everybody here, for those guys and girls that have been on this for the last almost 3 weeks now, major respect to all of you who have been coming back day after day and doing the sessions. I know it hasn't been easy, so again, we've got a lot of the regulars in here this evening again, or this morning, depending on what time zone you're at. But yeah, full respect to those people who have been doing it, and anybody who's here new, welcome to our hour of pain. And what we're doing is we're replicating stages of the Tour de France. We're replicating the efforts and intensities that the riders have been doing on that particular stage, and we've built that intensity into a workout. So that's what we're trying to do, and bring in the actual effort and the appreciation of what these guys are going through each day. And we're trying to make that into a solid training block as well. So yeah, we're starting into this is our first climb. So we're going into Col de Bordères. So it's a nice gradual start. 5 minutes. We're lowering our cadence down because again, it's quite steep at the bottom of the climb. I think it's got gradients going up to like 8-9% at the bottom of the climb. It eases off slightly in the middle, and then again it ramps up again with putting our FTP back up to about 95% in the last 6 minutes, again lowering the cadence. But at the minute we're about 90%, 75 RPM. Again, for those of you that are here and have been doing it every day, you'll know that I've been saying just make sure you keep within your zone, certainly in the early parts, because even if you're feeling good, you can you can really blow the gasket, especially later on whenever we need you to use them sort of them bigger bullets as we go along. So just be focused and try and keep your technique as good as possible whenever you are relatively fresh. So first climb, Cat 2. We're doing, it's going to be a total of 14 minutes, this effort. So yeah, just keep steady and don't get out of the rhythm too much.
I'm with Ken there. He says I'm not awake yet. Same here.
He's not awake yet, yeah.
I have a new appreciation for what these guys have been doing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
After yesterday, I am a little smoked. 90%. Clive, see, he noticed. I was just going to say. So, just waking up and then had a gigantic bowl of oatmeal less than 10-15 minutes ago, and then encouraged to get on the bike. So, once we start feeling good, I'll bring it back up. But right now, all of the blood is in the stomach. Can you talk to that? Why coaches say that about where the blood is?
Well,
like what? Blood in the stomach. What are you talking
about?
So
well, that's it's quite a lot of times people, the reason that we get stitches or the reason that they have a lot of pain in the stomach is basically you obviously were just as we came on to have a conversation before going live here, you were sitting shoving a bowl of oats in you. So obviously a lot of your food is in your stomach. It hasn't digested yet, and to digest the food, you obviously need a lot of blood is going to your stomach, into your stomach wall to try and get that try and get the digestion going and being able to break it down and into your intestines, into your liver, and get the energy from it. So for the next 45 minutes, then are you going to have as much blood going to your stomach as going to your legs? And again, that's why sometimes you start exercising, your breathing rate does go up whenever you have a full stomach. So I wouldn't recommend what Nathan has done today, but we will pat him on the back for the bravery and for the how should you say the gusto bike when just having finished a bit of breakfast, and obviously for me making him feel guilty. So but there we go. So well done.
Hey, appreciate it. So we'll bring it back up as we feel better and better. Good little start here. 5 minutes. But
and
also,
this 5 minutes is.
Go ahead, Stephen.
I'm just saying this 5 minutes is us again. We're not going full tilt at the bottom of this climb. We actually go down to 80% of FTP after this for 3 minutes. So, you know, it gets a little easier in the middle and then it kicks up again at the end. So, you know, you do have a wee bit of reprieve here at the end of this 5 minutes where it goes down to 80%, and that will feel quite a bit easier. So, you know, you've only got a minute left at this, and then we're down to 80% for a wee bit of a plateau in the climb before kicking up again for that last sort of 6 minutes at what's going to be for you 2:55.
All right, sounds good. Man, I didn't hydrate, I don't think, after yesterday either. Feeling it. You know what they talk about
Yeah,
in the tour.
yeah, you
missed the hydration.
were sweating a wee bit today. Yeah, you were sweating a bit yesterday now, so we could see a bit of a red face going today, or going yesterday at the end of the ride. But yeah, anybody who again was watching the tour will know, man, it was hot. It was hot today in the tour. I see a lot of guys, you know, finishing, you know, white all over them. Anybody seen Peter Sagan today, who unfortunately had a real rough day? Thankfully, he finished within the time limit, but you know, that guy was just firing water bottles all over him on that first climb, over his arms and over his legs, and yeah, I would be it'd be frightening to know how much water a lot of the guys went through today. 200 kilometers in the Pyrenees at the end of 3 weeks of riding. Your body's already struggling, so yeah, I say hydration tactics would have been to the fore today. So.
Whew. So
Yep, we're back down.
this RPM is interesting.
Yeah, so
Wanna
yeah,
check
bring the
that a
RPM
little
back
bit?
up to about 85. Yeah, so bring the RPM back up to 85 now in this middle bit. Like I say, the gradient is eased off slightly. We're bringing the cadence, the effort down slightly. Again, we're not going full gas at the minute, so we're waiting for certainly later on in the next climb, and then you know, it gets steep at the top here, so we're bringing the cadence down again. So you know, just get that cadence up. I would prefer it up around 85, even go towards 90 or whatever if you feel like that. Your legs are quite heavy after that initial low cadence effort. What you probably all will be pretty happy about is on this last climb, this last long 33-minute climb. I'm leaving it in a slack gear. So anybody, it's whatever gear that you feel that you can get the power out, that's what we're going with because of the duration of it and the fact that we're at the end of 3 weeks. You know, I want everybody just to focus more on getting the power out than us being specific in the cadence. But on this climb here, I certainly want us to try and work a wee bit in them strength blocks in that first 5 minute and that last 6 minute effort on this climb. So.
All right. 2:15 for me. Pretty much endurance at this point. High endurance.
Yeah.
And what
yeah.
what are you
Just
aiming at here?
very low end. So yeah, on this here, I mean, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get your body rocked up to before a real big 33-minute effort.
Because we're
You know, whenever it was building.
We're GC, so we're kind of holding off and following.
No, well, no. Today you're going to be the attacker. You're the guy doing the attack. So, which is
Okay.
what you're going to be doing on this next climb. So,
Gotcha.
you know, the bottom of this next climb is quite hard. So you've 3 minutes at 103%, and 5 minutes at 90%, where you know you're trying to get that gap out, and then at the end of this 33 minutes, the last 3 minutes, you're up to 105%. Okay, so after 30 minutes of a pretty solid threshold workout, you have 3 minutes at 105%. So that's where we're trying to make the gap at the top of the climb. So be prepared for that there. But yeah, we're just running into the stage. We're sitting in the group. We're certainly not trying to use our matches too much at the minute. And then once we get down this descent, we have a 6 minute recovery on the descent, and then we're straight into an attack. A hard upper threshold effort for 3 minutes at 103%, which is for you at the minute, it's about 280, I think, is that so?
Yeah, 285.
Yeah, 285. So yeah, this is the last bit of this climb. 6 minutes. Bring that cadence back down again. Bring it down to 75. We're just at 95% of your FTP, and
Let the G kick in before we get the wattage out of it. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
One thing when you're going after an RPM that is you have to adjust is the wattage has to come way down to hit lower RPMs.
Yeah, before bringing up. Yeah, and then start bringing it back up again. So Yeah, I mean that's a good point as well. Probably give yourself, certainly for these longer efforts that are 6 minutes or 3 minutes to longer, is to give yourself maybe 10 seconds or so to get into that rhythm. 10-15 seconds, let that ERG kick in, and then start bringing your power back up to match the RPM that we're actually trying to achieve. So, but yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people might have some issues with riding these low gears earlier on, but I can tell you it's better to do this sort of work now than later on, because again, we basically have a 33 minute effort on this Col d'Aubisque, which we're going to be doing after this descent. So
we do have social on for those who want to interact. Go ahead and do so. Be able to bring your questions and comments in, as long as I can still move.
Yeah. Certainly type in how you're feeling, or how you're not feeling, or if anybody wants to type in and say for Nathan to encourage him to put that FTP up back to 100%, please feel free. We might get a petition going. So,
So, quick little example.
I can.
How it's done there with Ken, who's been with us through the whole program.
Yeah. Ken's based out in Auckland, New Zealand. So he's been getting up super early in the morning. Obviously for us in Europe here, it's evening time. So he's been getting up super early in the morning to do this with us every day. And it's great seeing so many nationalities that have been doing it. I've consistently have a lot of Spanish and Portuguese and everybody here doing it, and as well as obviously a large British contingent who's been keeping out of the sun with this heat wave apparently we've been having, and jumping on the turbo trainer and sweating a wee bit. So fair play to everybody who's foregone an outdoor ride and joined us here inside.
Definitely feeling.
So 3 minutes left.
Big time.
Yeah, and we sort of discussed this a wee bit, Nathan, just on your own personal experience and how you've been training over these last couple of weeks. Is you obviously haven't been very consistent in your training, just with work and everything else, and the fact that yesterday was so hard and so hard for a lot of people that your inability to recover between sessions is going to be greatly reduced. And I think that's what a lot of people might have found if they jumped on and they've done the first week, and certainly the first week of our Grand Tour stages were quite intensive, a wee bit like yesterday. Shorter, sharper, anaerobic efforts, VO2 efforts, not a whole lot of prolonged threshold efforts. So they really would have sort of ripped your lungs apart if you weren't used to it. And the recovery from that would have been quite difficult, especially if you're coming into this with potential lower fitness than what you would have been happy with. And again, I would be keen to hear from other people who've maybe had the similar sort of sensations, those who've maybe come into it and have been quite consistent in in these rides and over the 3 weeks, and how they're starting to feel and how they're starting to adapt. Some people, again, is very like those in the Tour de France. Some guys start really good and the fatigue builds up and goes down. Or you get some other riders and they're really strong at the end of the 3 weeks compared to what they were. There's a lot of guys there in the Tour. For example, Ian Boswell, he's starting to go really good. Quintana starting to go really good, and they're really starting to ramp it up in the third week compared to what they were in the first sort of week to 10 days. So, again, we can have the exact same process as what a lot of them guys had. So
1 minute. Here we go.
1 minute. 1 minute. Keep that cadence down around 75, and once we get to that point, then bring it back up. We're going down, spin it out for everybody here, preferably over 90 RPM. Even spin it out a wee bit more than your, I suppose, comfort level in that first 20-30 seconds, just to really try and get them legs spinning. And then after that, you've got 5.5 minutes or so to bring your heart rate down and have it at quite a low level before you start that 3 minute big push into the Col d'Aubisque. You're just under 30 seconds.
I'm standing a lot, looking for power.
Yeah. We're
not okay. Not supposed to do that, Nathan.
No. I mean, standing this early as well, you use a lot more energy. But I'm assuming that the fact that you're pretty uncomfortable riding at that intensity already, hopefully
It's
later
also
on
the
you won't
bike.
be.
The bike too.
Yeah.
I think. I'm on my wife's bike. We share a bike in here, so.
Yeah, and that's difficult. Yeah, changing from one position to the next
up a
as
little bit
well.
more. Feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah. Yeah, and just spin it out now. So, bring that cadence up. Again, the erg might kick in, but bring that cadence up and spin it out a wee bit more than normal and try and get that heart rate down a wee bit. So, we're seeing yesterday your heart rate going to, what was it, 190? 180? 197. 187.
Lindsay,
Has anybody else seen 187?
Lindsay, I told Lindsay afterwards, she was like, Nathan, when's the last time you saw that? And then she looked at me and was like, don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Didn't we get a message from Andy as well? Who said he was laughing hard as could be.
Yeah, that's right.
At me pushing, but then realized, this might not be funny in a moment.
Yeah, it mightn't be. It mightn't be. So, but that's again, it's a real good. And using heart rate is a real good benchmark to measure your progress. Obviously over the space of 24 hours of what we have from you were doing the ride last night to today, we're not going to see major progress in your heart rate and how your heart rate reacts. But again, comparing this ride to one that you're going to do in 2 weeks, comparing the intensity, doing the same ride. And trying to replicate it as much as possible and comparing the heart rates as well as the power is a brilliant way to see adaptations, a brilliant way to see how your body's reacting, or trying to see fatigue that's potentially kicking in as well. So, again, as coaches, we can pretty much see people that are potentially on the cusp of being quite fatigued just by how their hearts are reacting, particularly to longer efforts as well. So you're starting to see a lag in heart rate, or maybe your heart rate isn't peaking so much. One thing I would say, Nathan, is the fact that you got 187 probably leaves me to believe that you're pretty fresh or undertrained, whatever way you want to look at it. Let's say fresh makes you feel better, so let's leave it at you were feeling fresh. So
no, it's true though. That's true though. That's the way to put it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's again, it's pretty
Steven,
normal.
a few comments coming now. I want to encourage everybody over at Mixer. How's it going, guys? Good to see everybody tuning in over there. The comments coming in. Are you a commentator, Steven? Steven, that's one of the questions. Are you a commentator? Do you commentate any races ever? I have. Yeah, I have in the past. I've done a wee bit on Eurosport in the past, but yeah. So now I just really enjoy commentating on Nathan suffering. So I think that's. I think that's my new. It's going to be my new day job. I'm going to be pretty proud of doing that. So. And then let's see here. You sure you want to hear heavy breathing coming in? Oh, we got all kinds of noise gates. I gotta get pretty close and pretty intense to hear the heavy breathing. So we're pretty good there. Good to see Carissa in the house as well. Got a couple of our mods, Rogers and Marissa over there. Let's see here. Zaleef, welcome. Good to see you as well. Newer name, it looks like, in the program. So, and yes, Johan Wallstrom, he's fresh. I'm liking that comment. That's where it's at.
Yeah, freshness is the best. That's the way to go. So, but yeah, just again, we've got a couple of minutes before we kick off again. And I'll go into the same, I suppose the same advice I've been doing the last couple of days is, this next effort is quite long, and not to think too much about the end of it, but just to put it down into blocks. And thankfully, the way these workouts are built and the way Zwift has it is that we can just concentrate on the end of each segment. So, whenever we kick into this, let's not think about that 15-minute block in the middle. Let's just think about getting that 3-minute effort as good as possible. So, we're going to raise it up. We're going to do, at the top end of your threshold, about 103 to 105% of your FTP. Again, I'm letting you have a selected cadence. So it's basically what you can do, because I know a lot of people are going to be tired from 3 weeks. And, okay, he's gone up 5%. Really?
Just 5.
You know, yeah, I am disappointed.
Steven's
That's not 100.
second-guessing me.
Yeah.
He's second-guessing. Really? Nathan? Like, are you going to do this? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We got to
so,
get chat
if any,
interacting in some sort of way to, like, change the percentage. We actually can create interactive tools on... we could create interactive tools on Mixer so people could change. They could spend sparks on Mixer and change the percentage. That would be amazing. That would be awesome. And I could like beg for them to bring it down and know they could bring it back. They could bring it up if they wanted to. It'd be at 110 all the time though. You know it would be.
That is the worst invention ever. Anybody who can alter your FTP and being able to do that is just let's not talk about that again. So let's leave that
would
as
be fun. Well, the viewers think it'd be fun. So
yeah, statistic. Well, if that ever happens, I will never be on a Zwift ride. No chance. Okay, so we're kicking off now. So this is big 3 minutes. You know, again. Listen, let's try and not go over too much that, you know, for you, Nathan, anyway, try and not go over that sort of 300 watts. Try and keep it between 295 and 300. Select cadence. You know, for anybody out there, I would certainly recommend trying to keep everything now from now on above 85. So, you know, if you are going to want to mash them gears a wee bit, if you are going to do it, make sure you leave it to that last 3 minutes. So that last 3 minutes, you know, it's pretty hard. We're going up to 105%. You know, you are going to be pretty tired at the end of it. So if you need to lower that gear and get out of the saddle to really mash that, leave it to then. But for now, let's just try and keep a focus on technique. Sitting in the saddle, you know, hands on top, not too much body movement. It's a long way. Conserve our energy as much as we can. You know, energy that is wasted, let's not waste as much energy. So, you know, we're pretty focused for that last hard, certainly that last 13 minutes of the climb was pretty intensive, specifically that last 3 minutes as well. So here we go. So we're just a minute 50 left, and you're looking all right, Nathan. In fact, you're. So we're just on. We're just starting the Col d'Aubisque. So anybody who would have seen the Col d'Aubisque today will know that it sort of goes up in maybe about 2 stages. There's a wee bit of a lull in the middle of the climb, and there's a wee bit of a down. So you'll see on the. Sorry, I'm just bringing up a wee graphic on my own. So yeah, so we're just coming down. We've just finished that Cat 2, and then we're going up. Starting going up what is saying the Col de Souleur. So but they have the Col d'Aubisque all in one climb. So it's really in 2 parts. But what we're doing now, this first, what is in essence 17 minutes, is that first bit going up to the Col de Souleur. Then we'll have a short 2-minute downhill, and then kick up that last 13 minutes to the top. So really we're just on that sort of first gradient, heading towards what is the Col de Souleur at 1,474 meters. So we're heading up that, trying to make a hard tempo at the bottom of the climb, trying to narrow down the group, narrow down the peloton who was there. And then we're setting into a steady tempo in the middle of it before the downhill, and then we're headed hard that last 13 minutes up to the crest of the Col d'Aubisque. We're hitting it quite hard.
Wow, I got no response. I'm done.
Yeah, you've got 14 seconds, 12 seconds. You can see your heart rate is pretty good in the sense that well, you know, I think it's a lot better than yesterday. So okay, we're bringing it back down. 15 minutes at 90%. U255. But I mean, what's quite interesting in your heart rate, Nathan, is you know, even we can see that for being again under trained from what you're saying, is that at that level, whenever you're riding at that 3 minutes at 103%, where your FTP's down slightly, but you know, your cardiac drift certainly was nowhere near as much as what it was yesterday. So you know, you started that climb at about 175. You finished off about 179, 180. Not much did you go in. So you know, over a 3 minute period, in around quite a high end threshold effort, you didn't have that drift a lot. So that pretty much shows what your sweet spot is, where it starts to flick up, where that cardiac drift goes to flick up. So, just again taking the information from what I see now and from what I seen of yesterday, that whenever you start going over that sort of 305, 310, that's whenever we start seeing your cardiac starting to really, your heart rate starting to really drift up. And I suspect at the end of that 10-minute block, where we're asking to ride at your 270, and then you're going up to that sort of 300 watt. I think on that 300 watt, we're going to see it about 185 by the end of it. So, because I think that's just where the sweet spot is of you starting to raise up. So, let's just keep an eye on that and see how it goes.
These heart rates so high. I was used to the feeling here, 174, 179. The second we hit 180, I was like, ooh, we got to back off.
Yeah.
Now it's like right on that ceiling during threshold now. It's interesting.
Yeah, and just, see at these points here when you're doing, and again, for everybody else that's doing this middle 15-minute section, try not to get out of the saddle. Getting out of the saddle engages a lot more muscle groups. You definitely sort of use a lot more oxygen, using upper body a lot more. So if there's one time that you should be pretty static in your technique and trying to focus on, little movement, it's definitely now, because, we're at 90%. We're not going full tilt like we have been earlier on and what you are going to come up against. But also, I'm asking to give this a selected cadence. So, you should be trying to get into a cadence that you personally feel comfortable with. So I'm not dictating it. The effort, the session isn't dictating it. So, this is just a tempo session. So, just focus on this bit, getting through this 15 minutes, and then, using it as smooth as possible. So.
Having trouble with the cadence all over the place.
Yeah, well, above 84, 85 isn't too bad. Your heart rate isn't coming down so much as, in around 170. Would like to see that coming down to at least 170 by the end of it, in the middle of it, but at the minute I don't think it's going to be coming down too much, otherwise you probably would have seen it by now. We could start taking bets on how high can we get Nathan's heart rate today. Maybe we could do that for a charity or something, or I don't know, or just for giggles. How high can actually maybe there's one. If anybody would like to type in and predict Nathan's highest heart rate today, we'll give some sort of prize, like I don't know, a shout out on a shout out at the end of the show, or
you'd send him something.
Send something. So yeah, it might be an idea, Nathan, to lower that back down to 90%. The way your heart rate's drifting up now, we're seeing close to 180, so it might be an idea to put that down to 90% and try and bring that down a wee bit, just to give it a respite, because I don't think you were going to be able to get through that that big 3-minute block later on. So.
Wallstrom says 198. Idiot says 190.
Yeah. 198. Yeah, I think if we do see it, it's it's going to be at the end of that 30-second, right at the end. So, defibrillators are handy. Nathan,
186.
Ken wants to know if we got a defibrillator.
186.
I'm gonna go for 190. I'm gonna go for 190. That's on the perception that you'll bring your FTP back up to 95% for that last 3.5 minutes, where we're going for the sprint at the end. I think we're gonna see maybe, let's say 192. There we go, 192. So Ken saying 183. Yeah. Got Anson saying 186.
186.
Yeah, 186. Yeah. So yeah, it's we should do this every time. Actually, it'd be like the Nathan ramp test. How high can his heart rate go? Yeah. That'll be good. So yeah, you can see automatically, your heart rate's starting to come down a wee bit. It's back down 175, where it was, it was up to 179 there when you were at 95% of your FTP. So yeah, it's getting a bit more sensible now. So, and you look a bit easier. It looks a bit nicer.
It's all about just looking nice. All right.
Yeah. As I say, you got to look good before you go good. So never sacrifice style for speed.
Now we might have an argument about that. I was always the anti-style. Only shave on race day.
Yeah.
Let's show pictures.
Yeah. Shave your legs.
Yeah.
Before race day. Yeah, only race day.
Just for the pictures.
Yeah, typical mountain bikers. There we go. Yeah. Try and keep that rhythm. Maybe get us let's take a side view of you just to see how your rocking's going and how your body movement's going. If we can see a bit of that might.
Looking horrible. All over.
Yeah.
The diapers are in the background. There we go.
Yeah.
This is better than the wife's handlebars up here.
You know what, and that probably is a wee bit that certainly the top of your body isn't rocking as much, but riding a bike that's not suited 100% to you, especially when you're giving it full biscuit as well, isn't that enjoyable. It's not enjoyable doing this most of the time, even on a bike that does fit you. So and again, I suppose that goes to a lot of people here in bike position, bike fit. Being optimized as much as possible in a bike fit is really important. I can't overemphasize how big of a issue it is for people on the wrong bike, wrong shoes, wrong cleat position, wrong crank length, which is a big one. Having that dialed in, having that dialed in. Yeah, crank length, where you're getting the, where your dead spot is, or reducing it, and feeling comfortable in your rotations is really, really important. But again, it's something that you need to go to, or somebody with experience, or certain professional bike fitters that are able to sort of advise you in the right way. But yeah. And make sure you get your bike fit done before you get a new bike, so you know the position of it. It's nothing worse than somebody buying a new bike, and especially with the integrated handlebars, the integrated stems, the integrated seat pillars, and then realizing you go and get a bike fit and go, oh right, I've got to spend another $300, $400 on a different handlebar size, or head stem, whatever, because it's the wrong size. So avoid them pitfalls as much as possible.
This is
Yeah, this is a long one. So I mean, your heart rate's back up to 178. I mean, you were at 178, 179
you see all the moving?
Yeah, but if you hadn't have brought that FTP down by 5%, you would have been in a lot worse condition, because you were at 179 beats per minute, 178 beats per minute, getting very close to 180 within 2 minutes of this block. So
such a wuss, Nathan. You hear that? Just kidding.
Yeah, don't worry, we won't let you off. Yeah, we won't let you off like this on the last part, so don't worry about that. And again, this gives us a full respect to everybody who's actually been doing this for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, fair play to anybody who's been doing this for the last 3 weeks. It's again, it's pretty impressive, and it'd be great. Again, interesting for all of us to know how you feel at the end of it, how you feel your performance has improved, or the fatigue that you felt going through it, or even now anybody who's felt any sort of improvements over the 3 weeks of doing these, doing our Tour de France, virtual Tour de France. It's yeah, be interesting to hear. So.
4 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, 4 minutes. Then we've got a couple of minutes backing off down to 6%. Short climb. and then we have a quite an intense sort of 13-minute effort there coming at the end of this climb. So
I didn't watch today. Sometimes we chat about what happened. Can't do
Yeah.
it for me.
yeah,
But
today was again one of the most exciting stages. Certainly, actually, around this part of the climb, where we're at now, which is just before the wee dip coming down. We can see certainly, the Movistar team had everybody in the back foot a wee bit at the start regarding Mikel Landa, the Soler. They had a lot of guys up the front setting a hard tempo, as well as Bardet, and it made it really difficult. But I think on that last climb today, really full respect has to go out to the Lotto Jumbo guys. They really put in a lot of what I feel anyway, a lot of the most aggressive racing of the tour so far, between Kruijswijk and Roglic, and it was really impressive how they handled it, especially with the domination of Sky. And sort of Sky, on the last climb today, they had to go down to Chris Froome to chase riders, and basically at the end of it, they only had 3 riders. That was Bernal, Chris Froome, and Geraint Thomas. So and everybody was given digs. So everybody was given digs today. It was a real impressive stage. So, and a worthy winner.
We're drifting.
Yeah, you're drifting up. Luckily, you've only got about 2.5 minutes at this. So, yeah, about 2.5 minutes left at this. So let's just keep to this here, and let's see how far the heart rate can come down in between these in this 2-minute effort before we build up to that last sort of 13-minute, proper threshold effort where we're really giving it full biscuit in that last part of the climb.
Woo. Let's go.
2 minutes. That's it. You're getting your cadence up to 90, so thankfully you're not trying to mash it or smash it as you have been in the past. And I know you've said to me in the past, Nathan, that you prefer to try and lower the gears and really try and mash the way through these kind of efforts. So it's a good way to focus that you're.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm focusing for sure. We're dripping. Dripping good.
Yeah. Think of the calories burned. And how guilt-free you're going to feel the rest of the day, knowing that you've had a solid workout. So that's it. There we go. Short downhill coming up for a bit of rest. Everybody's going to be glad to know we've just got a minute 18 left. Just try and get through this next minute, and as soon as we get into this 2-minute rest, anybody needs to drink, anybody needs to take a bit of fluid on board, that's the time to do it. I'm hoping nobody needs to take anything to eat. If you have, if you do need to eat, you've done something wrong. Again, we'll talk about nutrition strategies. Certainly not, but hopefully as soon as we get through this next 50 seconds, that's the time to start to get a bit of fluid in you before that last big block. So there's somebody saying they're feeling last night's pizza. You're feeling last night's pizza. You're obviously digging pretty deep now at the minute, but 10 hours or 12 hours of digestion hasn't worked. So 30 seconds left. So let's try and really discipline that there effort around 2:45 there, Nathan. So maintain it. Don't worry about the heart rate. Might be trying to go up a wee bit, but we've only another 20 seconds of this, we'll be okay. Ten seconds. Well done. Short rest, short reprieve. Get the fluid in as quick as possible. Sit up, head up, big breaths. Getting a breathing routine is pretty important as well to try and get that heart rate down. So breathing rhythm, not trying to breathe fast, just trying to breathe deep and breathe slow will help certainly bring that heart rate down a wee bit. So.
Okay. Here we go. 120 left in this.
Yeah. So 130. That's it.
Workout.
Yeah. It was a hard one. It was a hard one. And again, I think it gives both of us, Nathan, an appreciation of everybody who's been here, giving it, giving it gas every day, and going through it. And again, the appreciation of the guys actually in the Tour de France and what they have to go through day after day, which is another 5 hours more than what what we're doing here. So
you know what really makes me appreciate is base miles. Holy cow!
Yeah.
How much easier this is when I put in 2 or 3 weeks of 3 to 5 hour rides at 200 watts. Like,
appreciation
of that training now is get a bigger bottle.
Yeah.
Thanks, Holly.
Get a bigger bottle.
Is beyond me at this point. Like how much that matters.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And especially with inconsistency, if you haven't been doing much, it is like that. And like we discussed yesterday, I think trying to get at least 10 days to 2 weeks of that sort of effort with a couple of activation rides like here in Zwift, shorter higher cadence or shorter higher intensity efforts will just help keep them fast twitch muscle fibers going. But certainly trying to get a lot of tempo work and zone 2 work as much as possible will help. So yeah, we're going to start this. We're going to start this hard build towards the top. So it's a solid effort. Again, we're ramping it up. Our perception is that we're one of the guys attacking on the Col de Bisque. So that easy bit is gone in the middle, and we're ramping it up for an attack right at the top of this climb. So a lot of teams are setting a high tempo. Anybody who watched Movistar today, or certainly Team Sky, will know that it was not easy trying to sit on them wheels. So let's just focus on this 10 minutes. Don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about that last 3-minute block. After this climb's over, it's a very short run into the finish. Okay, so let's just think that this is the finish at the top of this hill. We can sort of light ourselves a wee bit, pretend it's the finish. Then we've obviously a wee bit of a sprint at the end. But yeah, let's get through this next 10 minutes as good as possible. So anybody out, including you, Nathan, keep your head up, keep your chin up, get the airways open. Getting that breathing routine, deep breaths, rhythmic breaths, more than short, shallow. Is a lot better to try and keep that heart rate. So
something I noticed when we really get into it is short breathing. Like at the really high efforts, I noticed they help though at the super high efforts. So can you talk to that at all?
So again, especially when you start to panic. So whenever people start to panic, when I say panic, I mean that they're starting to lose focus on the actual effort or lose focus on their again technique. I talk a lot about technique and how you're feeling in your head and how your body is responding to the effort. Is you go into shallow breaths, shallow breathing, very fast breathing, and we don't want that at this point, because really we should be able to get into a rhythm, albeit a hard rhythm, but still, all in all, we should be into a rhythm, and tap that effort out, trying to keep your chin up, trying to keep your airways open. Everybody again has a tendency to start looking down whenever they're really, really suffering. But again, you're narrowing, certainly your ventilation, narrowing your neck and your head, and bringing your shoulders in. We want to extend it as much as possible. We want to try and open the chest. Open our airways, bring the chin up, and try and really get them deep breaths. The fact that we're indoors, the environment is taken out of it in a sense. There's no turns, there's no different ways of weather conditions that we can really focus on that. So again, that's something to concentrate on, especially early on this climb. So what's interesting, Nathan, is your heart rate isn't really going too bad compared to relatively much difference to what you were doing whenever you were down at sort of 245. So again, you were kicking in around 179 then, and now you're at 180. So that's not that bad. Think positive. Think positive. Think positive.
Not bad at all.
So,
all good.
Not bad at all. Yeah. So keep going, keep seated, bring your cadence up a wee bit, preferably try and get it up to over 80. even if it does bring it a wee bit into your heart rate up a wee bit, but I think in the long term, bringing that cadence up a wee bit is going to help them the muscle fatigue for that last 3 minutes. So if you want to mash it in these last 3 minutes at the end of this climb, but for now, let's try and keep that cadence up a wee bit. Glad to see everybody's enjoying watching Nathan suffering. So anybody who would like to see this every night, please email and we can see how close he can eat his full of oats before starting, and see if he actually needs his bucket or anything before it, but hopefully not. So we're coming up to 5 minutes, halfway on this effort. So again, looking good. Again, your cardiac drift hasn't gone up that much, Nathan, compared to what it was. So you're still only in around 179, 180. If we can get through this next 3 or 4 minutes at that same level, it'll be I'm pretty confident you'll be able to give it a wee bit of biscuit, a wee bit of gas on that last 3 minute effort. So.
Oh, it's pain. Here we go.
Yeah, tomorrow morning. That's right, Cycling Idiot. It's 9 a.m. tomorrow morning we're on, and 9 a.m. UK time. So for anybody who is doing the ride tomorrow morning, we have a shorter recovery period. So really we've only about 14 hours recovery between this effort and tomorrow. Tomorrow being a time trial. So that really is critical, the recovery. So anybody who's doing this and is intend to do tomorrow morning as well, time zone allows your recovery after today's stage, so your nutrition and your hydration within an hour after this is going to be more important than ever. So we're on Zwift tomorrow morning live, so we're on the Zwift Facebook page live tomorrow, so you'll be able to catch us over there. We also have a guest with us. No, he won't be in bed. He won't be in bed signated. He's gonna be with us. So full respect to Nathan getting up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and over in the States there to help broadcast this. So we should really feel sorry for him at the minute, but yeah. So yeah, we'll be in Zwift tomorrow. So we'll see. And we have a special guest tomorrow. We've got Philip Digner. Philip is an exercise physiologist, and he works with us here in Dig Deep Coaching. Philip is one of the world's leading guys on data analysis, and I think a lot of information that you see around many publications and around the world, from power, race analysis, and insight into the professional peloton. It's easy to say that Philip is probably one of the leaders in that expertise. So he'll be joining us from Hamburg, where he's based in Germany, tomorrow to go through Tour de France. We're going to pick out some of the best parts of the tour. We're going to look at some of the best parts of the data that we've seen from the Tour de France, the real outstanding efforts from different riders, and we'll be giving examples and showing that live as well tomorrow. So anybody, even if you're not on the bike tomorrow with us, certainly join in, check in on Zwift, and you'll there's lots of cool content that we'll be talking about tomorrow. So 2.5 minutes left. Again, your heart rate really hasn't moved. Your heart rate really hasn't moved much in this last 5 or 6 minutes. So if you can keep it this rhythm, keep it this topping that effort out, you're gonna get through this all right. So nice cadence, keeping above 82, 85.
Lost my screen. There we go.
Yeah, we can see you. Don't worry. How bad does it need to get before the hat comes off again? So we're not at that point yet. We're not at that point yet. It'll come. Don't worry. It'll come. So, but it's again. Like I said, just try and keep the head up. Big breaths. Don't push. Don't try and start to panic, and try and keep that discipline of the technique as good as possible. So. So just coming up to a minute left at this level. So once we finish this here, again, this 3 minutes going up to 105%. I'll say to anybody, that's the time if you want to start, changing with your cadence, whatever it is, to try and get that effort out. I'd certainly recommend just using what's comfortable. For Nathan there, he probably is more inclined to start going, down the gears, sort of lowering his cadence to try and use that to get it out. Other people are different. I would certainly be probably more akin to going up the gears and to spin a bit more. But what I will say, a big effort this last 3 minutes in the climb, obviously, and just to use whatever technique regarding cadence and torque distribution. Just do it whatever's possible, the best way possible to get into that power zone. So again, for Nathan, it's going to be 285 watts, is that? Yeah, about 285 watts. So we're already 182 BPM. So I say we're going to be, we're going to be close to 187, 188 maybe at the end of this. So there we go, 3 minutes. This is our finish line at the top of this hill. After that, we have a nice 3 minutes at 150 watts. Get another drink. So look at that counter, look at that clock, and just don't think too much further ahead. So try and keep that technique a wee bit, as much as possible within the norm. Don't try and let the technique drop too much. Head up, keeping the breathing. Again, it's something that it's something that's going to help certainly in the long run. We've still got a bit of an effort at the end. We've got a bit of a sprint coming to the finish, so we just need to make sure we're trying to get through these last 2 minutes. A minute down, 2 to go. We're 185 beats per minute, so 186. I forget what I put my money on. Your heart rate was going to get 192. I think it was wrong. So I think Ken had 180, 193. Yeah, it's Wallstrom had 198 max heart rate, so he could be right. We could be matching yesterday's. So we're halfway in this last effort. Full gas. Try and keep that cadence up slightly. Second idiot thinks you look like Gary Lineker. Is that right? He looks like Gary Lineker? I'm not so sure. I think all this training's going to your head. He thinks he looks like Gary Lineker. Nathan probably doesn't know who Gary Lineker is, but won't explain that now. No, he doesn't. Okay. 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Let's just get through this. If you get through this, you're at the finish. So we've got a nice 3 minutes recovery going down before a bit of a sprint coming into the finish. So 30 seconds. Nearly there. Where you can start to see that face going a bit red. 186 ppm, 10 seconds, 9, 8. There's the line. Again, get across this. Sit up, big breaths. Try and focus on getting that heart rate down as quick as possible. Anybody who needs a big drink, now's the time to drink. We do have another 3.5 minutes at the end. Pretty intensive, so well done everybody. You've just got over the Col de Bisque. So a solid 33-minute effort. Not easy by any means.
The music's helping. Definitely helping.
Yeah, seeing your heart rate starting to come down. 175, 173. 171. It's coming down. It's coming down pretty quick, actually. I think quicker than what I thought it was gonna be. So.
That muscle memory. You got some memory up in here.
Yeah, it's coming down 169. Yeah, let's try and get that down to at least 160. You know, before we start. So, I mean, that'll give you a wee bit of breathing space before bringing that up a wee bit. So, come that last sort of three and a half minutes.
During the green efforts because the lack of.
Yeah, just lack of training.
Well,
yeah.
I have been doing high intensity.
Yeah.
Here and there, so.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
if we get full rest, it comes a little quicker.
Yeah, it comes down. So, like I say, we're down near 160 now. Would have got a minute and a half left.
He's fresh, Johan says. Yeah, he's fresh. Feeling real fresh. Actually, I'm feeling like my
fresh.
food's actually digested. Maybe that's it too. You know, speak to stroke.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Volume.
Yeah.
Floored with a full stomach.
Yeah.
You got to work harder to move
Yeah,
that
no,
oxygen.
Absolutely. When your heart's got to work harder because it's pushing blood to your stomach and to your legs, and you know what we're kind of doing here is a bit unnatural after you've just had your bowl of oats and
Dude, huge.
you want to jump
Bowl of oats
in.
and
Yeah,
dark
so
chocolate. Let's go. Jump on the
Yeah.
bike.
yeah, let's go. Yeah.
159,
Yeah, so-
158. Here we go. Here we go.
So now we're going to be going to our coming into the finish. So anybody seen today? It was a downhill flat finish. We're going to ramp it up for the sprint. So we're going to go 2 minutes at 95%. I'm asking everybody to be at 95 RPM. It is downhill. It is pretty flat. So I want everybody to
100%,
try and
baby.
really bring that cadence up. He's going 100%. Oh dear. Here we go. He's, this isn't going to end well. I don't think everybody thought they were coming into a comedy show here this evening to watch Nathan Nathan's heart explode. So, here we go. That's it. So let's get that. Keep that cadence up at 95. You know, after this here, we're 1 minute 105. Then at the end, it's 130% for 30 seconds. So it's not one of the big full-out sprints that we've been doing earlier on. It's more of a hard slog. Anybody who's seen the sprint today for second place or whatever, no, it's more of a slog than a bunch sprint. So let's get through this 2 minutes, 95%, 95 RPM, high speed, low torque. Trying to avoid the rocking of the hips too much, trying to avoid the rocking of the upper body. Don't waste any energy because the last minute and a half isn't going to be pretty. So that's it, ramping up for the sprint. Just over a minute in this last ramp. Already heart rate 181. I think that music is here just so I can not hear your breathing, Nathan. I think that's just basically the excuse we have that. So we're gonna try and avoid hearing your breathing by
Oh man, come on.
yeah. So.
Here we go.
That's it, right on. Here we go. Come on. 25 seconds left of this effort, and then we've got 1.5 minutes of a big push coming in. So let's leave nothing on the road. So get through it all. We're going to get time trial to go tomorrow, and then a procession in Paris. Just think of the champagne for whenever you win this stage, Nate. Here we go, 315 watts, bring that up. Keep it up a wee bit, come on. You have a total of 1 minute left of effort, so that's all it is. 1 wee minute, keep that power up. Try and fix your eyes in one place and avoid looking too far. Focus will be quite insular right now, so don't go too far. Don't let the mind go too far, and keep a focus on this next 30 seconds. You're gonna leave everything else out on the road. So 5 seconds. Okay, everybody. 30 seconds. Let's see what you've got left. Pull out. Whatever you need to do to get it out. Come on. 20 seconds. We're nearly there. Everybody, 4.2 watts per kilo. See, I'm saying 4 watts per kilo. Second idiot, they're going up to 4 watts per kilo. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Well done, everybody. Oh dear. What did we say? 184? Was that 184 BPM? Who got that right? 196. We're 196. So we're 2 down from yesterday, or 1 down from yesterday. I reckon we need to do this tomorrow and see if you can get 200. Oh, you go. I seen 196 cycling it. I seen 196. Yeah.
We'll see. The ride report will tell us.
Well done, everybody. Well done, everybody.
Oh my gosh, Stephen. That was different than yesterday, though, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Way different.
Yeah, and again, yeah. Completely different intensities. Again, that's the beauty of doing this sort of this grand tour that we're doing is we're changing the intensities and the variance of the efforts so much.
Not
so
to brag or anything.
I
mean, but
couple of stars there.
3 stars there.
Yeah. Well done, everybody.
Well,
hopefully they're all got
was
that
at
okay.
90.
So.
Part of it was at 95, so stars come easier. Stars come easier with cheat codes on. Up, down, left, right, A, B, select, start. That's how you get that FTP down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steven's like, what? I never played Nintendo.
Too busy riding my bike.
I'm talking 1985, 1986. Mike Tyson's
Yeah, I was
Punch-Out!
too busy riding my bike.
And, Mario.
Yeah. I done my first bike race in 1986.
Oh, me too. BMX.
When I was 6 years old. Yeah.
First BMX race I won was in '86. Actually, I was 5 or 6. We're the same age. We're the same age, Steven.
Yeah, it must be. It must be. I feel old. You must feel a lot older now after finishing that.
I'm losing a little bit. Hold on one second, Steven. I'm going to lower your bit rate just a tad. 1 sec.
Okay.
There you go. Should be better now.
Oh, that's cool. Ooh. That's cool. So, yeah, thanks everybody for getting through the Pyrenees. So that was a hard effort these last couple of days as well. I know we had a bit of a short stage yesterday, but the last 4 days we've had 3 big climbing days, lots of threshold workout. Anybody who's going to jump on tomorrow and listen to us on Zwift Live tomorrow morning, or who's going to jump on and actually ride. So certainly I would encourage anybody who's going to wants to get a solid threshold workout. Tomorrow's a lot more consistent. It's a shorter effort, but it's a lot more consistent.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I want to know what is happening tomorrow at 3 a.m. I gotta go get some recovery.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but just think how good you're gonna feel later on, Nathan. Whenever you can say, I give myself an hour and a quarter of a solid workout and had my heart rate just below 200 BPM. So, yeah, you might need to get that defibrillator pretty soon.
Post-ride drink affected today's hydration too. I never drink. I had one drink. It was an IPA though. So, yeah. But I think that actually did affect my hydration because if you don't drink at all, it has a much harder impact on than if you do.
Yeah. That's you really if you had Guinness, you'd have been fine. So we all know Guinness is good for you.
I avoided it.
Yeah, we all know Guinness is good for you. So.
Guinness is good for you.
Yeah. Recovery drink at Champions.
Carissa
but yeah,
says, my last tour stream. Thanks, Nathan and Stephen, for the entertainment analysis. Carissa, thanks for tuning in. Awesome.
Chris, thanks very much. Thank you.
She also worked hard. modding the Mixer channel.
Yeah.
Especially during our features. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I think we've it's been incredible amount of people joining in each day over the last 3 weeks, consistently riding or joining, getting involved in the chat, going through all the data that we've been doing, and I think actually today is our last one on Zwift Community Live, because tomorrow we're obviously on Zwift. So I would take that. Yeah, massive thank you obviously to Nathan for hosting our hosting our Grand Tour on Zwift Community Live. I think it's certainly brought an absolute massive edge to the project, and obviously to allow people to get involved and to, I would say enjoy, maybe not enjoy, but appreciate the intensity and the effort of what the pros go through. So it's been
this
really
is a good
cool.
question from Chris. Thanks, I appreciate that, Stephen. We love doing it here. So I get a workout. I get live coaching. Worth 100% worth. Oh man, I lost my. I'll get BOC in a second. But is there a repeat session tomorrow? Later on in the day. Work. Yes, isn't there?
Yeah. So it's on twice a day. Yeah. Actually, so the time trial for those in the southern hemisphere, if they want, will be on at 11:45 p.m. UK time. And then for the UK European people tonight, so tonight Europe time, which would be very early morning, Australia and New Zealand. So basically it's on in about 4 hours time, the time trial, okay? But then for Europe, it'll only be on tomorrow morning, okay? So it'll only be on tomorrow morning. But what we can do, Chris, is obviously we have the workouts that are being automated. If you join if you haven't already, you can join the campaign or the mailing list where we send out all the workouts. So you can join it. I put a link up on the chat there system. Or if you want, Chris, I'll send you. I'll maybe send you an email later on, just with my email address, and I'll try and send you across the actual session if you want to do it tomorrow. So I'll maybe get that across to you ASAP, so you're not waiting on on Monday or Tuesday until you get all the workouts. So I'll drop you a message after this, and I'll actually put my email up here so you can you can join in, and I'll send it across to you later on tonight. So.
Sounds good. If there's any more questions before we get going? Actually, let's take a look at the workout workout here. Where's my menu? So, I don't know why can't save here. Where the heck is I lost my workout screen. That's too bad. Wow. 979 calories.
Whoa.
Almost 1,000 calories. My TSS was like almost 90, like for under an hour. That is quite the workout.
Yeah, that's intensive. Yeah, that's intensive. So let's. What did your hash heart rate get to? Can we see that? So
it was 190.
Pick 1 minute.
I saw 190. Let's see.
196, I think.
I thought it was 197 actually. I think I saw 197 in there. It was in the broadcast. I can take a look on Strava if we really need to.
Okay. No. I think it was 196. I definitely seen, but it could have been 197. A bit of it went up. Anyway, what was your hash yesterday? 198. Did we see 198 yesterday?
198.
197
yesterday.
yesterday.
We're gonna have to look. Oh, here we go. Oh, you're right. 196. I thought I must have been hallucinating. All right. 196. Okay. It's right there.
Okay.
My bad.
So
90 TSS. Woo, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a hard to. I mean, you can see just
update.
Obviously from the cut.
It never updates. There's something broken about my peak power thing here. I don't know. It thinks I'm lying or something. I don't know. Chris Rivera. Look at all these ride-ons. Durham's in the house. This is a youngin from. You might recognize this name pretty soon, Stephen. Over in the UK, Durham. He has been junior on Zwift ever since I first started riding on Zwift, and up and coming around the community and riding for WBR.
Brilliant.
And
brilliant.
Been up at the front of a lot of packs as he's come up. Actually, I think he was close to national champion for juniors at one point or something. So good to see him out there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Thanks for being involved. And again, it's great to get a bit of feedback on. Obviously, we're not trying to make specific workouts to help and improve certain areas. What we're just trying to do here is replicate the intensities of what the tour is doing each day. But with that in mind, these different intensities that you do, and these are probably efforts that you wouldn't normally do. Certainly, different cadences that you wouldn't normally do. So I think we're, from the feedback we have had from a lot of people is, we're open different ideas, different intensities, and looking at combining torque, combining cadence as well as effort as well. So, so it's been pretty cool to get a lot of that feedback as well. So
this is interesting heart rates and cadences too. I never look at cadence much, so you're really starting to make me focus in on that. These roadies. These roadies getting me to think about how I'm spinning my legs.
Cadence. And, cadence is, like I say, it's massive. It's really big. Probably something that's overlooked by a lot of people, but certainly we focus on it a lot here at Dig Deep Coaching to try and, maximize the training, the adaptions and everything else. So.
All right, 3 a.m.
So well done,
my time, 9 a.m. Europe, UK time. We'll see you guys there. Last stage 20 of the Dig Deep Coaching Grand Tour. We're going to be on Zwift's Facebook page tomorrow. Thanks everybody for tuning in, Stephen. Appreciate you always putting the hard work in.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Cheers. See you, everybody.